Hey folks, welcome back to the Stitch Up. Here we are again with my co-host Hugo Farrant. Say hi, Hugo.
Hello, hi.
Hello, everybody. So today, and yes, I am dressed exactly the same way as I was last episode because we're shooting these back to back.
And we don't ever change clothes.
We don't ever change clothes. That's just a thing that we do for good luck. But we're going to be talking about another Zack Snyder film, his most recent film, as of the most recent that has come out, Army of the Dead, the Netflix release, which came out in May of 2021. Quite a film.
Oh, yeah.
Such a departure from what he has been doing over the last 10 years with the superheroes.
Yes.
And he kind of, like I said before, he's kind of gone back to school. You know, he's gone back to doing something that he did when he was, you know, a younger man shooting film clips and stuff. He's decided to take on being his own DP. Which is admirable.
Yeah.
And there were no chairs allowed on set. No one was allowed to sit down. He wanted the energy. And also because of the corona times, of the COVID times, he had to be very careful about who was on set at what time. And he just felt like having, you know, people hanging around was just
dirtying up the surfaces.
Well, not even that, but just it was going to slow down the momentum of the film. And look,
fascinating thing, no chairs.
Yeah,
what a diva.
Yeah, I know, right? This film pushes itself forward at a pace you can barely keep up with.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
It is something else, and we're going to get into it. Before we do that, we're going to do our obligatory opening trivia.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Zack served as his own DP, shooting mostly in natural light, and wrote the first treatment over 10 years ago, which is amazing. This is an interesting thing, and it will come up when we talk about the film. The actor, or the comedian rather, Chris D'Elia, filmed a role for this film along with the cast, but in the summer of 2020, stories broke about him pursuing underage girls for sex and sexually harassing women.
Oh, no.
He was obviously taken to task because of that, so Zack Snyder hired comedian Tig Notaro to replace D'Elia. Now, Notaro was filmed alone on a green screen and inserted into all of D'Elia's scenes via the green screen and using special effects. So the helicopter pilot,
Peters,
is completely not there.
I did know this.
You did know this?
I did know. I came across this trivia. I don't know Chris D'Elia very well. I know he's famous for doing an Eminem impression, which is very funny. He ended up getting, doing that impression in a couple of Eminem songs.
Is that right?
Yeah, so yet again, Eminem picking the wrong ones to collaborate with. If this guy is a wrong'un. So he's a nonce, is he? What a fucker. Just string him up.
Yeah, he's not a good dude. And he's not even particularly funny.
Well, he isn't that funny. The Eminem impression is funny, but that's because it's just an absurd take on Eminem. Eminem's pretty funny.
You'll notice if you watch the film, I'm not going to do a round up again of the story. Really, a bunch of mercenaries have to go into Las Vegas, which has been cordoned off by the US government because there's been a huge zombie outbreak, and they're going in there to steal a bunch of money for this guy who's asked them to do it, but he's already received the insurance from it, so they're going in and they're going to be able to keep the money, but he gets a bit of it. But what he really wants is this zombie head,
spoilers.
All this kind of shit. That's about it. He wants a zombie head, a zombie army, all this stuff. Dave Bautista, is he on steroids? I don't know. Anyway, so that's the story. But so you might notice when you're watching the film, the most of the frame is out of focus at almost all the time. Just what is right in front of the frame. And there's a lot of close-ups and stuff like that. And very, very soft focus. The depth of field is incredibly shallow. Being the cinematographer that he is, and understanding the apparatus that he has available to him, Zack did what I think is a really interesting, cinematic move by kind of taking old tech and putting it in new tech. So this is the first time he shot digital. He went almost completely shoulder mounted, so all handheld. And he used lenses that were repurposed from old 1970s still photography lenses. They were called Dream lenses. They're 50 millimeter, and they have a low f-stop. F-stop is the reading on your camera that tells the camera, well, it tells you how much light is being let in through the sensor or onto the film, exposing the film. So he shot this with these lenses, which have, like I said, very low f-stop. I think it's 0.95. Normal 50mm lens would be like 1.4 or something. The current lens I have on this camera is like 28mm, and it's on, I think it's like 4 f-stops on 4 or something. So not a huge amount of light getting in, but that's the type of lens it is. So these ones are 0.95, and he shot completely wide open, meaning there at no point did he close the aperture to get a less light reading. And that makes the depth of field incredibly shallow. Like, it's just the nature of what a lens does. The more light that comes in, the shallower the depth of field. And that's a lot of light going in at all times. The fact that he shot this on a handheld, wide open, on that high of an f-stop, with a 50mm lens, and any of it's in focus, is a fucking minor miracle. Like, he is absolutely subverting the technology that he's using. And that is the one thing that I took away from this film more than anything, is that it is a marvel in terms of its cinematic technique. And that might sound like hyperbole, but as for someone who really appreciates choosing the right lenses for stuff, maybe not for this, but for when you're actually doing something, you're cinematic and you want to tell a story in the right way, lenses are critical. It was beautiful piece of work.
It's amazing to get that perspective, because it is visually striking, but it is very much in the wheelhouse of Zack Snyder, what we've become accustomed to, the visual dynamics. But definitely the focus thing stands out, even to someone who's not cinephile or doesn't know any of that stuff. There are moments when the focus is so dramatic that there's a character who's maybe 1 foot behind another character, and they're completely blurred out. And it's very striking, very, very striking. So to know that so how heavy is one of these cameras?
It's really small. Like, small. If you see it in the, it's not like, because it doesn't have a big film cam on the back of it or anything. It's just this really small
like a DSLR type of.
It'd be a little bit bigger than that. It'd probably be about the same. So I've got a Canon C100 here, and that's probably, the body's about the same. The lens is much bigger, the housing for the lens.
Yep.
And then he's just got it on this rig. I've got a shoulder rig myself. It's a little thing that sits here, 2 handles, and you go like this. I don't know who his focus puller is.
Right, so that's another job. So there is another person.
There's a guy standing there, or there should be a guy standing there with a remote focus pull.
Oh, remote.
Yeah, so it's like not on the. Sometimes they're on the side of the camera, but sometimes these guys have a little screen and they do it here.
Well, there's the MVP.
That guy must have fucking shingles from all the stress.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, he I don't know how that guy managed to get out alive, because it's just, there's some stuff that just drops in at the perfect time and just drops out at the perfect time. Like, each shot, brutal. I don't know how many takes they did, but a couple of millimeters is all you need. He pushes forward just that little bit more than you're expecting him to, and it changes the shot completely.
Right on. Like, it's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah. We're in Vegas. There's a beautiful opening sequence to Viva Las Vegas, the Elvis song, and a fucking who's the behind the candelabra guy?
Oh yeah, I was about to say
Fibonacci. Liberace. He starts a thing, and
Fibonacci just playing the spiral piano.
Absolutely, and doing it 3 times. He sort of starts it, and we go into a really cool, like, this is previously on Army of the Dead kind of, catch up, and you see what happened to all these characters as the zombie apocalypse started, all these people who live in Vegas, and then Vegas gets walled off, and they have little, like, demilitarized zones, or little, like, camps outside of Vegas, which I'm assuming are for people, the denizens of Las Vegas, who don't have anywhere else to go. They're like internment camps.
Not
internment camps.
They've been brought out and they haven't been cleared.
Yeah.
They've escaped from the city, but they haven't been. They're refugees, basically. They haven't been cleared from quarantine yet. Yeah, and that rings really familiar at the moment. Right. There's a lot of stuff. There's a whole sequence with this horribly rapey guard. Yeah. And a what are they? A thermometer gun thing. Well, it's something akin to that. Their version is. Oh, it is a thermometer gun.
It's a thermometer gun.
About thermometers. It's talking about temperature. Sorry. Yes, that's what surprised me when you said he wrote this 10 years ago.
Well, I mean, the idea. Anyway. I mean, it's obviously been updated, particularly for now.
Well, it has, and I'm sure it has, and it's so timely. So timely. It's one of the great things about it. Is just how what a great commentary it is on, let's say, certain measures that have been taken due to a disease of unknown origin that lately happened to have happened in our world. But we won't comment on the origin of it. We might not even say the name of it. We don't want to get.
I said the Rona something before. But,
Did you?
But yeah, just
That's
to,
pretty coded.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's not what we call it anymore. Yeah, it's interesting because you don't really. Do you get an origin of where it comes from?
Well, you get this alpha zombie.
That's right. Yeah, this fucking genetically engineered zombie man.
Which I was going to ask you because I haven't seen Day of the Dead or Dawn of the Dead.
Sure.
I haven't seen his version.
Mm.
Is that something that leads on from his version? Is there an alpha zombie at the end of?
Is this like?
Dawn of the
you
Dead?
asking me if it's a sequel?
Yeah,
It's not a sequel.
it's not a sequel.
No, it's not connected in any way.
Okay.
Well, I don't think so anyway.
Okay.
But no, in that at that particular period of time, and 28 Days Later does this as well, is that they had zombies that could run.
Yes.
Which, some people think is more frightening or less frightening or whatever. I think they're both two different things. So that sort of zombie horde, the never-ending propulsing forward coming after you thing, or some guy, blood and brains coming out of him, roaring at you like a lion, running at a full pelt. That's scary in a different way. But this film starts with this one alpha zombie who's being transported from a government installation, who escapes, and then when he bites you, you become an alpha zombie as well, which means that you are cognizant and you have thoughts and feelings and emotions, and you're also fast. But then there's also the other version of the zombies, which is just the mindless shamblers, mindless sort of herds. So he's kind of having his cake and eating it zombie.
Hey, nice. He's having his cake and mauling it.
Yeah, he's having his cake and mauling it too. Yeah.
Yes, I liked the combination of shamblers and runners.
Yep.
Wasn't so keen on the alphas.
It was weird, sort of.
Yeah.
To give them so much agency.
Yes.
It became like I Am Legend.
It's exactly what it became like.
Yeah.
And that's not something you want to crib from.
No.
Because I Am Legend is awful. In my opinion.
The book's great.
I'm sure it is.
The book's really good.
I haven't read it.
And I don't know if this film's great, and if my dad watches this, he's going to be really pissed off at me because he loves it. But the Charlton Heston picture Omega Man is not a remake, but it's an adaptation of I Am Legend.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I've never seen it.
Amazing film.
Really?
I fucking love it.
Okay,
it's kind of dates really badly, but it's just fucking Heston. It is Heston all up and down.
Yeah, good.
And it was actually one of the first Hollywood films to feature an interracial relationship as well.
Okay, there you go.
So it kind of it has a lot of merit, but and it holds up a lot better than the Will Smiths.
Yeah, that wasn't a good movie at all. The abandoned city parts were amazing.
Yeah,
but then these sentient hierarchical vampire zombies thing did not like it. So if you're gonna crib from anywhere, that was a bad place to crib from, in my opinion.
And look, maybe he came up with that idea before that film came out. I don't know, but it does lean that way.
Did
you know? Close. Speaking of I Am Legend, you know how all the characters, all the zombie dudes are CG.
Mm.
Do you know Mike Patton did all the noises?
I did not.
Isn't that whack?
That's crazy.
I know. I just couldn't believe it.
That's I Am Groot levels.
I think I mentioned it in my film group, like my film club that I'm in. Hey boys, how you doing? Hope you're watching. And Dan, one of the guys I'm in there with, he was like, I think I mentioned that I watched it, and he was like, yeah, fucking Patton's doing all those noises. I'm like, oh, fucking course he is. Michael Patton, the human goddamn fucking sounding board. The zombie alphas.
Yes.
Yeah, you feel like that was a misstep.
Well, for me it is, because that's not what I'm into zombie fiction for.
Yeah.
I like the mindlessness, literally, and lifelessness of zombies. So giving them agency, giving them strategy, I'm not into. Definitely giving them life. So spoilers, there's this moment where one of the zombies is fucking pregnant, which is bonkers.
Well, I mean, she gets there's like a queen. The character's name's Queen, and Zeus is the main alpha, and they have a romantic relationship, and they have a baby, and Queen gets her head cut off by one of the bad guys.
Yes,
because they're going to use that to then control the zombie hordes and have a zombie army. All right, whatever. And then the zombie alpha Zeus finds the body, and cuts the baby out of her, and it's like this little baby with a glowing blue light in it, and then the blue light goes out, and the zombie alpha screams, and that gives him a reason to go after the humans who are still left in the city.
As if decapitating his wife wasn't enough reason.
I know, but it's a weird emotional thing to try and draw out of you from these creatures.
And I did, I did get affected emotionally by it. Sure.
Yeah.
Because it was pretty well done. But it's not what I go for zombie content for.
Yeah.
My ideal zombie content is probably not the TV show, because I've barely watched it, but The Walking Dead, the comic book.
Comic series is great.
Really, really bloody good.
Yeah.
And those zombies just shamble. They're just shamblers.
Yeah.
And they wring out enough drama out of it for how long has that thing been going on for? Like 15 years of comic books now.
The show, it's finished now, but it was probably
finished.
Must have been 10 years at least.
I've fallen behind on it, but that's what I'm into. I really, really, and I'm okay with running zombies. I thought they were brilliantly handled in the otherwise quite terrible World War Z.
Yeah.
But I really thought the zombies in that were an astonishing achievement. Just the swarming aspect.
Yeah, it was like
waves.
Yeah. When you
aspect.
saw the high helicopter shots of these dudes just fucking climbing. Yeah, I completely agree.
I loved that.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved what they did with that. That's the what's the word? That's the reductio ad absurdum. Like, that's the absurd level that running zombies would get to.
I fucking love having a co-host. It's so good. You get words like reductium ad absurdum. Like, you don't get those when you just talk to anybody.
That's normally a negative thing, but I don't mean it like that. And I've
reductive to its most absurd degree.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But that's like the inevitable conclusion. That's what you would inevitably end up with if you go down the path of running zombies.
Yeah.
World War Z showed that.
Yeah, you don't get zombies who are smart enough to put on a fucking bulletproof face vest.
Oh, I actually really liked that bit, but
oh yeah,
yeah. Well, I liked it within the context of what they did. I loved him putting on a bulletproof face thing, because it's like, yeah, of course,
yeah,
that's brilliant.
That
was the only part that he can get harmed in.
Where it makes a difference.
He craft a helmet.
Yeah,
brilliant idea. As soon as they're sentient and strategizing and hierarchical, in my opinion, they're not zombies anymore. They're vampires.
Yeah, I thought the same. The same thing.
And I'm not into vampires.
It absolutely, especially because he ends up wearing this huge long coat.
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking Queen of the Damned up in this bitch. Is that goddamn, what's the dude's name who was in that? Fucking Ray Scott? No, that's not it. Stewart someone or other? Stewart Townsend.
I haven't seen it.
Is that Stewart Townsend? Don't even worry about it. No. Don't even worry about it. It's totally fine.
But yes, and I'm not into vampire stuff. I think I've forgotten the name of it, but George A. Romero did one with a sentient zombie called something like City of the Dead or something like that.
Land of the Dead.
Land of the Dead.
Yeah.
With the sentient zombie who's like the leader of them.
Yeah, but I mean that also came organically from the place of where in his Dawn of the Dead, I think, or at least the leading up to Land of the Dead, which was sort of the more recent one he did with John Leguizamo, he had the zombies enacting behaviour that they displayed in life. The same way they do in Shaun of the Dead, actually. It's like people were still trying to pump gas into their cars and stuff, even because they had sense memory, or they had like certain nerve memory.
Yeah.
So I feel that, but I mean, Army of the Dead hasn't earned that. It's just.
But I'm also off it. I'm also off the train at that point.
Yeah.
I think that I just lose interest.
Yeah.
I think that the reason why the Walking Dead comic book did it so well is they just followed it through to its ultimate conclusion, which is like you'd have the breakdown of society, and then over time, if you really want to go longer and longer and longer, the zombies become less of the threat than each other.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And very rapidly, but then increasingly so. Like the zombies just become this background presence, and all of a sudden you've got this tribal warfare and warlords and stuff like that, which I just find really interesting.
Oh yeah. And
then the zombies themselves are literally just this mindless horde of varying degrees of danger.
Yeah.
In it, and they're just surprising because they. Especially shuffling ones, I just find them really appealing because it's something that, on the face of it, shouldn't be dangerous. But again, from the last review that we did, quantity is its own quality.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, when you increase the numbers enough, you get something that's ridiculously dangerous. People can talk about like crowds, like it's always the fear of crowds. It's like agoraphobia.
Yeah.
Is zombie fiction. and I'm not agoraphobic, but I live way out in the countryside, for example. I'm clearly not into like massively crowded urban environments.
If there's a zombie apocalypse, I'm coming here first.
What they should find is new human ways to deal with it, and that's why this mercenaries trying to get into the city and try to pull off a bank heist is really cool.
Yeah,
I really like that.
The heist. Okay, we'll get into that now. The heist part of it is the least of it for me. It doesn't really. It's not like Ocean's 11 with zombies. There's not this kind of big sort of scheme that has to go on, and then things keep getting in the way, and they have to adjust the plan and all that stuff. It's just get in, get out kind of thing. The only real thing is the stages that you have to get through to get to the vault, where it's got like defense mechanisms, like a fucking Indiana Jones movie. Like you walk in and like Rhodey says in Endgame, he's like, hold on a second, this is where the fucking spikes come out with skeletons on the end of them.
Yeah.
It's that thing. So they keep sending zombies in to like trigger these things.
Yeah.
That's really the only thing. And then the German guy, Dieter, opens the vault. Yeah. So it's not the heist part of it is the least part of it. Yeah. In my opinion.
Yeah, they should have lent into that more.
Yeah, it could have been more of a heist movie, is what I'm saying.
I think my major thing would be remove the sentient zombies, and have more heist tactics and more fuckery from the Japanese fella who's pulling all the strings.
Yeah, I want to talk about him for 1 second because this guy is a fucking great actor. So Dave Bautista's working in this cafe thing, he's flipping burgers, and in walks Scorpion. I'm sorry, not Scorpion. Hiroyuki Sonata, great actor. Has been working in Hollywood for years. And obviously working in his native country as well. And he's got this plan to go into Vegas and steal this money, like we're saying. Now, they've got a 96-hour window before the president has decided to nuke Vegas. Now, it's a lot of gleaning information from watching TVs, and one of those is later on when they're watching the TV when they're in Vegas, they're like in the vault, and it's like, and the president decided to push up the sending in of the nuclear weapon because he wanted to do it on the 4th of July. Quote, he said it would be really, really cool. Yeah. And I'm like, I know what you're doing. Yeah. I know what you're doing, but it's not funny that he was president. I'm sorry. It is horrifying that he was president, and he's not anymore, so let's just give it up. That's beside the point. Getting back to the character here of the sort of unnamed... Tanaka is the name of the Japanese businessman. Sorry. There's a scene where he's assembled everybody, and he's like, this is what we're going to do, and he lifts the curtain off this, to scale model thing. He's like, you're going to go in here, and the money's in here, and you're going to get the helicopter, and do this, and blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, easy peasy Japanesey. Yeah. And Dieter goes... Actually, we don't say that anymore because it's racist, and we say easy peasy lemon squeezy, and then he's like, but I'm Japanese, and then Tig Nojiro goes, but it's okay if he's Japanesey, and then the guy goes, okay, if you like it, easy peasy Japanesey, easy peasy lemon squeezy. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what is this? Is it supposed to be funny? Like, I don't get it. Is it supposed to be subversive? Is it like, I don't know what that joke is? Yeah. And it's already a big movie. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. You could leave that out. Yeah. You could leave out the racist joke? I don't know. What is it?
It's, I liked it.
You thought it was funny?
I liked it. I thought it was
laughed.
Very
funny. I felt bad about it.
It's okay to laugh.
It's okay to laugh?
I think this is going to come up, a fair amount in our discussions going into the future. This kind of like shorthand of it, this woke business is starting to I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but the wave of wokeness as a social force, it's not crested, it's not pulling back, it's starting to slow a little bit. Yeah. As a force for social power, and in the past I've been very, very woke. I kind of, fell into it, pretty hardcore. But I've seen where it goes now, and I'm not a fan. So I've kind of changed my tune on it. And then someone could look at that joke and say, it's not a good joke. Accurate. It didn't make me laugh. Accurate. Personal taste. But the mistake would be laughing and then feeling bad about it.
Yeah, because I did. I couldn't help it. Like,
I think that's a real mistake.
And it was Tig's lines, which is like, but he's Japanese. And that's funny.
Yeah,
but
that's funny. Yeah. She's woke as hell.
Yeah.
She's a massive social justice warrior. In
a positive way or in a not positive way?
In a way that I don't know where she stands on it now, but in a way that she's concerned about these social justice causes. For sure. She's a member of the LGBTQ community, as we might say. Mm-hmm. She's concerned about these broader issues, let's say. She's not a weak woman. She greenlit that line because it's funny.
Yeah.
Because it's funny.
And funny. The character of Tanaka plays it off really well.
Dude, it's funny. Yeah. It's funny. And what it is Dieter's trying to do the woke thing. But classic example of woke overreach. He's trying to do it to a dude who's Japanese.
Yeah.
So he's fucking it up.
Yeah.
But that happens so often.
And the fact that he's German was funny as well.
That's funny too.
Yeah, you know. Yeah.
Like there's a lot that's funny about it.
It all touched.
And it was just amusing. Like I thought, valuable use of the runtime. Because it sets the tone.
Yeah.
And it sets the tone. So it sets the tone that, hey, we're having fun here. We're also having the fun at the expense of people who take things too seriously.
Sure, yeah. The whole film could be said of that, yeah.
Right. We're laughing at the woke now a bit more.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. And I think that's where I would push back a little bit on the Trumpian stuff as well, if we're allowed to mention his name in the era of shadow banning. I think that was such a deft move, doing that bit. Actually, I want to correct it slightly. It was originally scheduled for the 4th of July. And the president is forced to reschedule it.
Oh, is that right? Oh, I read it wrong.
Yeah, it was the original news broadcast said it was scheduled for the 4th of July. And that's funny too. That's very funny. Very, very reminiscent of Paul Verhoeven.
It does have a bit of that feel, yeah.
Yeah, which is a great touchstone. If you're going to crib from someone, Zach, that was good. Paul Verhoeven's a great one to crib from. Very funny moment. Basically, they talk about nuking Vegas. There's an animation that comes in and goes, and the host, I forget if it's a host or a hostess, says something like, and that will occur on the 4th of July, coinciding with the celebrations. And then some firework graphic comes up.
Yeah.
Really cheap firework graphic.
Love it.
And it's just like, oh, that's very funny. And that's already funny. And then later on, they get the what's the word? The kind of like the rug is pulled out for them because they thought they had 24 hours to do it.
With 96, and then it ends up being like only a couple of hours.
Yeah. They thought they had 24 hours left.
Oh right, sure, yeah.
Sorry, they thought they had like 26 hours left. For some reason, they're pausing and watching fucking telly. But whatever, it's worth it. It's true. It's worth it because it gets this scene, and we get this news broadcast saying, "Oh, the president has caved to pressure, so he's bringing it 24 hours. He's bringing it up 24 hours instead of postponing it. He's bringing it forward." Even though, in his words, doing it on the 4th of July would have been, and I quote, really kind of cool and very patriotic if you think about it.
That's the one, yeah, that was the one that got me. I'm like, yeah, fuck you.
But, okay, so the thing is, in my opinion, and I don't know who wrote this one. Who wrote the script for this one?
Zach and another dude.
Okay, good on you, Zach. This is a good script. And that's one of the reasons why it's good in that moment, because that's really, really deft. I think Zach's really turned a corner. As I don't think it's controversial to say, but Zach's, he's not woke. He's not on the left. Let's say he's kind of like a kind of average Joe conservative Christian dude from a bit of a weird sect of Christianity. But anyway, it puts him on what's broadly termed the religious right. He would almost certainly have been a Trump supporter.
You think?
I would bet money on it. I think he would be one of the exceptional people in Hollywood who would have been a Trump supporter. And what he did there with that joke is he made a joke that whether you hate Donald Trump or you like Donald Trump, you could laugh at it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, okay.
Because everyone would recognize that it's pretty accurate. If that had happened during...
It could have been ripped from the headlines, that little part. Yeah,
precisely.
Absolutely.
And that's deft.
Yeah.
That's really deft. That's actually pretty freaking good comedy writing. Because it's totally apolitical. And that's an achievement in this day and age. There's so much politics has infested Hollywood in the last couple of years, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better.
Even surreptitiously, you're seeing things where it's points are being made without even trying to make points about things.
And all of the incentives have been set up to incentivize filmmakers to try to make the same political points as each other. That's terrible for filmmaking. Absolutely terrible. Terrible for creativity. Definitely bad for comedy.
Yeah.
And so moments like this in the movie and the way the movie operated. Now, I don't know if maybe we're too early to talk about it, but let's just talk about the diverse cast.
Yeah, very much.
You would, without getting into the weeds of it, just maybe a few white fellas. There, Dieter's a white fella. You got a baddie white fella. Tig's a white lady. And then the rest are, really kind of diverse, right? Like every color under the sun. You got a black character, a Latin character, a couple of Latin characters, an Asian baddie, let's say,
and a zombie person. So really everybody.
None of the team are stand-ins for their race. You could hold it up as a paragon of diversity, at least on the numbers, but none of it's racial. In the same way that Cyborg, for example, is a high-profile black character in the last Justice League, but for example, he's not a social justice activist. He might wear a hoodie or whatever, but that's just costuming. He's not trying to carry out social justice goals, which in the hands of almost anyone else in current Hollywood, he would have been.
Yeah.
And so so we've gone on a tangent because of these jokes, the Trumpian joke, and the Japanesey joke, but they're part of this point.
Yep.
They're very carefully placed in there to demonstrate, hey guys, let's chill out a bit here. We can laugh, we can laugh, and we can all, crucially, if we all get on board with this, we can all laugh at the same stuff.
Yeah.
Even if we disagree politically.
And that can also be said about the absurdity of the level of violence that we have, in the opening montage and stuff of, one of the characters cutting a zombie in half, with a buzzsaw, and it's all practical shit. Or the woman with the huge, big, aircraft cannon thing, shooting a zombie and it's just becoming mince.
Yeah.
I think it's really going for, like you said, in all ways, hey, it's cool. We can do all this and it doesn't hurt anybody. You know what I mean?
Yes.
In the level of violence that we're looking at, in the horrible, gross, rapey nature of that the guy who works at one of the camps, who then the coyote ends up using as bait.
Brilliant.
It's so fucking good. That I was cheering in my seat.
Yeah, it was great.
Where she's like, "Can I touch your gun?" And he's like, "Do you want to touch it?" He's been just slimy
perfect.
Shot in the leg and ate.
And yet, so here is a moment when it doesn't forget the race of the character, forget even the sex of the character. He has done awful things to another group of people using his authority, and we all cheer when he gets his comeuppance.
Yeah.
It's a uniting moment, and it's carefully crafted. But I don't think anyone can deny that one political angle dominating a sphere of entertainment discourse is unhealthy. It's not healthy. We should be having a conversation around things.
Yeah.
We should be able to be united around things. And if only one political realm or side of the political dialogue is at all represented or represented to any decent degree, that's not going to be, it's not going to work for the audience. They're going to turn off, largely. It's probably not going to produce decent quality programs because your primary agenda is the political angle, not the story. And thirdly, it's actually causing more division in our society, which we need that like a hole in the head right now.
Act 2 is pretty clear. They enter the walled off area. Tanaka's dude and Coyote start having a little bit of something going on there, maybe his agenda's a little bit off. The heist part kind of starts as they fight their way through some zombies. The hibernating zombie scene is chilling. They go into an area where all these, what do they call it? Shamblers? Shamblers are all hibernating, just sleeping, and they've got to kind of weave their way in and out of them. And with that shallow focus, it was fucking tense. that bit was the bit that had me, because I'm claustrophobic as well. So like being that tied in with all the fucking zombies was just, that bit was really sort of, kicked it up for me. One like weird scene I want to talk to you about, when they're about to break into the vault. It's Omari Hardwick's character, and Dieter. They're about to break into this thing, and they find these bodies of the team who was sent before by Tanaka, and they're all dressed the same as them. And then Omari Hardwick's character talks about them actually being stuck in a time loop, and it's them. It's not actually part of the story. This isn't true to the story as far as I can tell, but that they're just going to keep doing it over and over again. And, they get the mission from Tanaka and they go in and they fail and the bomb goes off and then they go again and they do it again and like this kind of thing. But it doesn't go anywhere. Like they don't then, it's a dropped thread completely.
Yeah.
And like in a way that the zombie tiger, I don't care who you are, zombie tiger looks cool. And the fact that it was one of Siegfried and Roy's, Valentine, its name was, pretty dope. And they had horse zombies too. I want some cat zombies and some rhino zombies and all sorts. But that kind of, you get her at the start, it's like she guards this barrier, and immediately that guy, Tanaka's dude's like, that's unnatural, that's weird. Yeah. All the way up to, that ends up killing him. That's the thing that ends up taking him out, this zombie tiger. Omari Hardwick talking about some time loop never comes back to it at all. Yeah. It's just kind of a cool thing to say.
Well, yes, okay, it's a fair criticism, but it's just whimsical.
Yeah.
It's whimsy and it's just tone setting.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's reminding you that this is funny, guys. We're having a laugh and we're self-aware. I'm not saying it's that great, but I did enjoy it. I think the guy's just a powerhouse, and I love Dieter, and so I love their dynamic together. And so him riffing on meta narrative was just very funny. Yeah. And it's a comedy, so...
It really does lean a lot harder into comedy than I was expecting. Even though it is set in Vegas, it does have kind of like a silly operatic nature to it. My favourite Dieter part was... Because he's not all his jokes land, but the one that did was... it's being described to him that they're going to go in and kill zombies, and he's like having this fantasy of killing zombies, and then he kind of looks at the camera and goes... Hold on a second, and then it cuts, and it's like, we're going to be killing the zombies. He's like, how do you kill the zombies? And Batista's like, well, you shoot him in the head and whatever. He's like, if I was to take a rock and to take it and smash the zombie in the head, would this kill the zombie? And Batista's like, yeah, it's just about stopping brain activity. So yeah, that would do it. He goes, okay, copy that. Like, it's just a beautiful little moment of innocence. Yes. Amongst, what is basically a bunch of not very nice people doing this, horrible zombie murdering job. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed Dieter.
Yeah, he was great.
Quite a lot.
Did enjoy him. More than, your typical sort of...
Well, he's an Ezra Miller type.
Fair. Yeah, but that's exactly the note that I had. Yeah. He's not at all like that. Yes. He's endearing, and when he sacrifices himself as the bomb's about to drop, he sacrifices himself by pushing Omari Hardwick's character into the vault as the zombies come in and shuts and seals Omari Hardwick in the vault. Yeah. And sacrifices his life. Just a beautiful arc for that character.
Really beautiful.
For someone who really shouldn't. He's supposed to be just a gag character.
It was great. I really just thought, fantastic.
The bloodletting in this film, like the risk is so high. I mean, clearly Batista and his daughter's character as well. His daughter's, estranged from him because he had to kill her mother when she turned into a zombie, and they get back together, and she has to go in there with them because she works at one of the camps, and some of the people she knows has gone missing. The coyote smuggled them in there, so she's got to go in and find them, so she goes with them. They're kind of, they have their kind of relationship going on, so they're going to survive, but everybody else is up for grabs. Even so, the character of Maria professes her love to Scott, Batista's character. 2 minutes later, gets her head turned around by a zombie, and the fucking spine goes ping, it just shoots out of her neck, and that's it. She's out. Good night, Vienna. Yeah. Like the stakes were quite high at this one. Not only the zombies and the heist and the thing and then the bomb. Yeah. You can get your head turned around.
That's right.
Alpha zombies. So they escape the casino. Tiggs, Najero's on the roof with the helicopter, and they have to go and save Kate, and they do kind of do that. But the zombie king goes after them, and Scott gets bitten, which is a damn shame. He's going to end up being the zombie. The helicopter crashes, Tig dies, and it's just Kate and Scott left. And they have a nice little father-daughter moment where Kate has to shoot her dad in the head as he turns to a zombie. Something at the end, the Cranberries song Zombie starts. And I fucking pissed myself out loud.
Funny.
It was really funny.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, you could be like, they're playing, because Zombie's an emotional song. It could be played for that, and it's all slow motion and beautiful. She's just killed her dad and all that kind of stuff. But then it's Zombie by the Cranberries as well. Like, it's just fucking, it's beautiful.
On the severed nose.
Yeah. Exactly. It is on the decrepit zombie-like nose. But it worked. It absolutely worked.
It's just funny. It's very knowing. I think that at this point we all know that Zack Snyder loves an acoustic cover, and he loves throwing in.
The whole film's filled with them.
Right. He just fucking loves them, and he loves lyrical callbacks. And you know, at this point, it's like, this was it perfected, because this was played for laughs. They're all pretty much played for laughs, and my God, they land. They were funny. It was funny. It was showing his self-awareness and just tickling. Just very, 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 very amusing.
And so we get towards the end here, and Amari is like one of the last survivors. He crawls out. That's not the character's name. I forget the character's name. Amari Hardwick's the actor. He crawls out. He's got
powerhouse performance, by the way.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's really good.
Just unbelievable.
And just cut out of marble as well. Like, he is just made out of
shredded.
Just makes Batman look. He could be Batman.
Well, he could be Superman. Right?
He could be Superman. Who's fucking casting that?
Right.
They're trying to get Michael B. Jordan. He's already 7 other things. Let this guy have a cut.
Get this guy. This guy's, he's top notch.
Yeah, and
I don't know him.
And a good actor.
What is he in?
I have no idea. I think he's in that TV show Power.
Man, this guy's a fucking powerhouse. No pun intended.
Ironically so.
He's amazing. He was just magnetic.
Yeah, captivating to watch.
Captivating.
And the relationship with Dita like starts off really kind of antagonistic, and then they end up being buddies, and it's a beautiful little thing to see this African American
always protective,
and this tiny
from word go he's protecting Dita. I think it's
he's protecting everybody. He's like when the fucking rapist guy picks up the blade, he's like, don't touch my saw and don't fucking talk to her. So we get that, and then we get kind of the stupid stinger scene where he's on the plane, and he's feeling a bit woozy, and he's having lobster and drinking champagne with the 2 stewardesses. You know, after he gets out and walks to Utah and gets on a plane or whatever. And then he goes in and realizes he's been bitten. He's on the last word. He looks in the mirror of the bathroom in the plane and goes, fuck. And that's the end of the film.
Yeah.
Now, I know that they're doing an animated prequel on Netflix to this film, which is, I guess, the fall of Vegas
good.
or whatever.
I'll be interested to see that.
Which is pretty cool.
It's basically the opening credits, right?
Yeah.
We haven't talked about the opening credits.
No, we did briefly.
Very briefly. Yeah. And I think a little bit too briefly.
Yeah, sure. Let's go back to the start.
This is the opening credits are another example of Zack Snyder perfecting something he's been doing for ages.
Yeah.
Is the dramatic opening sequence, silent, slow-mo, kind of like moving collage over a piece of music. He did it in Watchmen, and people laud that a lot. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but it's undoubtedly impressive. This is brilliant.
Yeah.
This is just extremely entertaining, and there's so much in it that you just you haven't seen before in a zombie fiction, in my opinion. Like the parachute is what sticks in my mind.
Yeah, I was going to mention that before because you were talking about the horde.
Right.
Yeah, this guy coming down,
trying to shoot a path, emptying his clip.
1,000 zombies at his feet.
Total tactical error.
Yeah.
Very funny. Very, very funny.
You can see all the things that didn't work. The carpet bombing the place, like it's fucking Vietnam, and I love the smell of zombies in the morning, and all that kind of shit. And it's just, you see all those missed attempts.
Yes.
And the the female Elvis impersonator that gets the fake Eiffel Tower dropped on her, just as the fantastic Richard Cheese version of Viva Las Vegas says, "Watch out, Elvis."
Very funny.
Richard Cheese, man. He's also the one who did the version of Down with the Sickness for Dawn of the Dead.
Okay. All right.
Down with the sickness, you're about to get up. It's fucking good. Look up Richard Cheese. He's awesome.
Yeah, I know him. Richard Cheese. Yeah, Richard.
I don't think that's his real name.
Yeah. Yes, just the opening credits, just really, really thoroughly entertaining. So,
and tell so much story.
Heaps of story.
In just a couple of minutes.
But also, so I've got a question for you. which movie would you rather have watched? Would you rather have watched the one we saw, or would you rather have watched the opening credits?
I've seen that. I've seen the opening credits one because it's a zombie apocalypse. Like this is a zombie, and it's different too because it was centralized. Like it's just Vegas, and they've locked it off. So now Vegas is the end. Yeah, well, Vegas is I just mean like in the movie proper, Vegas is shut down because that's where all the zombies are. There's not zombies anywhere else.
Sure.
Things are still going on normally. He talks to his daughter about going back to school and stuff. So it's kind of it's an inversion exactly, and that's a story I haven't.
It's a human invasion.
That's exactly right. Yeah, they're going in instead of trying to stay out, and I think that is like the credits part. Even though I do enjoy it and seeing it, some of those funny gags and things like that are really good. But I've seen that movie.
Yeah, have you seen a movie that was that funny?
A zombie movie? Yeah,
yes.
Shaun of the Dead.
No, but yes, okay, Shaun of the Dead. But have you seen a movie that would have been that action packed and that funny?
Well, no, yeah, I don't know what the extended version of that looks like.
I would seriously want to see that movie because it looked fucking hilarious.
Well, you're about to see it,
but I don't want to see the animated version.
No, okay.
I want to see the Snyder cut.
I'll make a call,
please. I would like to see that prequel movie.
Knowing the way that he shoots, there probably is an entire film's worth of footage from that.
I would watch it. I'd watch it.
Yep.
Extend it out to an hour and a half. I would be thoroughly entertained by that. The Fall of Las Vegas.
The Fall of Las. There you go. What would it be called? Vegas's Fall.
Well, okay, no. Here's a. I call it one the Fall of Las Vegas, and I'd call this one what they had on their badges. Do you see it? Last Vengeance.
Right on.
Yeah, it was
That's
great.
actually better. Army of the Dead leans it into the zombie.
Yes, it does.
Kind of thing, even harder. I think that's kind of what they were going for. But that's
Last Vengeance. I loved it. I loved seeing the logo. It raised me a decent smile. So I would have gone the Fall of Las Vegas, and then this movie should have just come after it, been a sequel, and call it Last Vengeance.
See, there you go. Are you listening?
I'd have gone for it. I'd have gone for it. Netflix. The opening credits is a whole movie in and of itself.
Yeah, surely they know that as well. So, Zach, come on back now, Zach, and let's make another zombie picture. Okay, so that's about it. We're all finished with the zombies for today. Any parting shots? Final words?
Yes.
Tell me about
I got some final words. Number one, thoroughly enjoyed it. Had a really bloody great time watching it.
Great.
As I said before, I really enjoyed the politically neutral stance that it took, both in terms of characterization and comedy and all of those things. And I think that's an increasingly rare thing, and it's something to be lauded and valued. So I applaud you, Zack Snyder.
Well done, sir. Well done.
I think it's very valuable, and I hope it's the start of a sea change to more neutral entertainment coming out of the mainstream. A couple of other things I wanted to mention, so we know well that the zombie genre is a satirical genre, kind of always has been. Or at least since let's say, so we had Night of the Living Dead, then Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead is heavily satirical.
Yeah, very much.
Heavy satire on consumer culture, let's say, charitably. What's this a satire on? Broadly.
Greed, I guess. Probably sort of government intervention into social issues. That would be my hot take.
Yeah, that's pretty hot. That's coming in hot. I was going to go for the simple straight away. It's just a satire on our Rona times.
Of course.
Most basic level.
Yeah.
And the government overreach in that regard. And that's the reason why as much as I don't like it, the zombies are producing life in that place. They do have their own society, completely misunderstood, but it should have been valued. It is life, unmistakably. They have intelligence. They can produce life. They should be investigated, kind of thing. They're not our friends, but that's the point. They're incredibly misunderstood. That's not necessarily an angle that I'm super kind of cheering on or whatever. I find it more interesting to look at the social decay of cities, large cities. I think it's satirizing that as well, the need to escape cities, and also just the general kind of corruption of a place like Las Vegas,
yeah,
city of sin.
Yeah,
or Sin City, I think it's sometimes
Yeah,
called.
Sin City, yeah.
You know, this is it's kind of satirizing all of these things.
The decadence of
The decadence.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I would mention is that, you know, the nuke is a funny device. But based on their ease, the ease with which they transport themselves across the city and achieve their goals, I really think that they, you know, could have just stood on top of those containers and just shot until all the zombies are dead.
Well, that's the thing though, because you've got the zombie queen and Zeus, and you like pay them tribute, and they offer you safe passage.
Yeah.
And that gets fucked up because the guy cuts off Queen's head, and that's sort of where everybody comes at him. So that is true, but it doesn't lead. Well, you're not really a fan of the alphas. It doesn't lead you to that alpha climax. You know,
no, it doesn't.
Alphas,
But I just mean that, like.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. You can just stand. You don't need to nuke the shits out of them. Yeah,
like what I mean is that they didn't set up well enough that it's a hopeless situation that needs to be nuked. And I get that that's...
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I get that that's part of the joke, is the excessive governmental response is that, just nuke it.
Yeah.
However, I just think that if you're going to nuke it, then it needs to be completely fucking hopeless.
This situation needs to represent as much more dire than it is in that particular area.
Precisely.
Wider,
Because even the fact that they're able to go through the doors of the shipping container, who closed the doors? As far as I can tell, they all went through.
Yeah.
So who closed the doors?
It drops down. You see it drop down. You know, like
no. When they actually go into the...
Yeah, no, I know. I understand what you're saying. Like, you don't see anyone locking it.
Oh, no. I'm assuming that it was already locked before they dropped it. I mean, when the coyote takes them in.
Yeah.
She takes them through a weird passageway of shipping containers.
Yeah.
Which doesn't look reinforced at all. And then she lifts up a bar, opens the doors, and then they walk out. Who closed the doors again?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it seems...
One of the zombies is like, we're letting the draft in. We're letting the fucking draft into Vegas.
That's
Zombie
right.
Vegas. And they've got to shut it because it's getting cold in the desert.
It seems very pregnable.
Yeah.
this wall. It seems very, very easy to breach.
Why can't they all climb over it? That was the other thing.
That's the other thing.
It's like World War Zombies, World War Z,
World War Z. The Alphas should easily be able to do that.
But yeah. But then again, do they not want to? Like,
Maybe they don't want to. Yeah, that's a point. Okay.
But the rambling hordes.
Shambling hordes, I'm all for it.
They could have done it.
Well, and I like the fact that that was the thing. So what are these? They show it, and they're all like piled up against the thing, and they spent too long in the sun.
Yeah.
And they just frizzled.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
But she's like, when it rains, they come back to life.
Right. But presumably,
not a lot of rain in
desiccated.
Vegas. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So they're not really dangerous.
It would
anymore.
just be sort of twitching.
So a lot of the danger is gone.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a mistake.
It's not like they want to do it and then get Vegas back. Like, if you nuke it, then you're not going to be able to go in there for what's the fallout? 30 years or something like that?
Fuck knows.
Yeah,
fuck knows. Everyone should have been dead from radiation, especially Amari. Oh, by the way, I think the last scene with Amari, we're calling him Amari?
Yeah.
I think he's suffocating in the vault. And that's his...
Oh, that's his get out of jail free card.
That's his... No, that's his dream. That's his dying dream thing. How do you get out of the vault?
True, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say. You just sort of see him climbing out of the rubble.
Yeah, come on.
Thank you for joining us, folks, on Army of the Dead. And today's quiz, it's zombie-centric. It's going to be called If You Want a Zombie, My Lover. First question. Zack Snyder's first feature film was a Dawn of the Dead remake. In what year was the film released?
Oh, fuck me.
If you do a bit of math, you might figure it out. If 300 was released in 2016...
2006.
2006, yeah.
I'm going to go with 2004.
Shit! He's in already!
Yes.
Number one! Okay.
I got one. Phew.
While not technically zombie movies, but do feature possessed zombie-like folk, Sam Raimi's Evil Dead series consists of how many films?
Ooh, 3.
3, fantastic. And for extra points, can you name them and the TV show?
Ah, fuck me. All right, here we go. So, The Evil Dead.
Evil Dead, yep.
The Evil Dead 2.
The Evil Dead 2, yep.
Army of Darkness.
Yeah, Army of Darkness.
It's just called Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness, yeah.
And then Ash versus The Evil Dead.
He's got it. Who is the godfather of the zombie genre, and what was the first zombie picture that he made?
I don't know the history well, but I know the name. It's George A. Romero.
Correct.
The movie is Night of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead, 1968. Which 1980 zombie film was banned in the UK until the release of the fully uncut version was allowed in 2000?
Wow. Has it got cannibal in the title?
No. No, it doesn't, but I know what you're thinking, and it shares a word.
Oh, shit. No, I don't know.
Zombie Holocaust.
Okay.
Like Cannibal Holocaust.
Just from the title alone.
How do you successfully kill a zombie?
You separate the head from the rest of the body.
That's where you destroy the brain. The 2016 Korean zombie film in which passengers on a train struggle to survive a zombie outbreak is titled Train to Where?
Busan.
Busan!
Yes.
Great film.
Very good.
Amazing picture.
Yeah, loved it.
Must be watched. There's a sequel too called The Peninsula.
Have you got a kingdom question in this?
No, what's Kingdom?
Kingdom is another Korean zombie drama, but historical.
Shit.
It's got 2 seasons. Highly recommend it.
What is the name of Woody Harrelson's character in Zombieland?
Well, he's called... Nickname is Tallahassee.
That's correct. Who directed the British early digital video Oh Shit, There Are Zombies That Can Fucking Run Now, 2002 film 28 Days Later?
Danny Boyle.
Danny Boyle! Boom.
Do you know what? I haven't seen it.
Really?
Haven't seen it.
It dates because it's shot on DV. But, I mean, the premise is quite cool.
Yeah, I'll have to check it
But
out.
then cribbed completely by Walking Dead. You know, Walking Dead just opens with Rick waking up in a hospital.
Yeah, but running zombies changes everything.
Yeah, true. That's absolutely the case in life and in fiction.
Yeah.
What is the name of the pub that Simon Pegg thinks they should all wait for this to blow over in Shaun of the Dead?
The Winchester.
The Winchester Tavern, correct. And finally, one last question. In Army of the Dead, with the film we just spent an hour discussing, what is the name of the lead alpha zombie?
I only know it because you told me.
That's all right.
It's
Still get the point if you get it right.
It's Zeus.
Zeus!
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
The Greek mythology is coming hard in that one.
Now, ladies...
so to speak. Oh, God. Lightning bolts.
Zeus is coming hard. Well, that's going to bring us to a close on Army of the Dead. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll be back with something fun another time. We don't have anything booked, but there's always something on the cards. So thanks very much for joining us again, and we'll see you next week. Cheers. Bye.